show. Uh, Boy, I don't know what to say except a win is a win. That was awful performance by Spencer today. I
Are
gotta
we
tell
live?
you,
Yeah, we're live. Okay.
yeah, we're live. Last year, I defended that guy because of his poor O line. Today, his O line did not play that bad,
I mean, it
and
didn't play great, but there was a
it
few times where Peters had a pocket and he still missed it. That
right.
one play to Alex Wick, right over the middle on that final, was it maybe it was the second to last drive of the game? Wide open dig
Mm-hmm.
route. And BF's going to take the blame for this, which it's like every year BF takes the blame, but if you see all these wide open receivers, it's not on BF. They
Yeah,
have to
there's yeah,
They have to do what Michigan's doing. They have to next week start Alex Padilla. They have to. They have
they won't though.
literally, in my opinion, they have to do what Michigan is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan is starting one quarterback this week and starting the other one next week because they have two equal quarterbacks in their eyes.
Right.
Well, Peters proved today that there's no way Padilla is as bad as what Peters played today. I
Yeah.
will say this. Last season, Petras was serviceable, right?
Right.
And Padilla could not complete a pass. But now I want to see if Padilla got better with his accuracy. Because he
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't throw a catchable ball. But now, last year I wanted to see Padilla, and I saw.
Yeah.
But after today, with all the wide open receivers that Iowa had, I have to see him now. My
Yeah.
camera's
I
all
mean,
crooked.
there was just too many. He missed a lot of wide open receivers and forced it into traffic, and get an interception once, and then the ones when he did get to an open receiver, he threw it too high for him. I think one of them he threw it in the ground. Okay, you want your receiver to dive for the ball, go for it. Stupid.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm
It took everything I had to hold back during that game.
no, see, for me, I just understand everything that's going on, right? When
Hmm.
when you're on the sidelines, like those coaches, they can't get all crazy because then the kids won't. They still got to win the game, right?
Right.
So I still, I keep my cool or whatever, like you should. I mean, fanatic. There's a reason why they're fanatics, right? That's
Right.
where it comes from. So they get all crazy, but you just have to take everything this week with a grain of salt. This week, I mean, all they had to do was win. If they would have lost today, it would have been drastic on the season, right?
Yeah.
So, like, this is like the Northern Iowa moment, right?
Hmm.
2009.
Right.
This is exactly the same. The difference is what was the score that day? 16-16?
Yeah, something
Like
like that.
1916? So,
Yeah.
yeah. But Petrus just played god awful. That's not on Brian, right? That's
Right.
not what. And I think the reason they didn't switch quarterbacks is because they knew the defense would win the game. They did not want another mistake. I guarantee you, Petrus was told, do not ever do that crap again. You don't
Hmm.
just chuck a ball to the middle of the field like you did right before half. You don't do that.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest play by Petrus. This game should have been 7-0. The defense pissed a shutout.
Right.
Offense didn't score a point. Defense scored 7. The
Special
defense
teams
pitched
gets
a
3.
shutout. The
Yeah.
offense went -3, and the defense went +7. That's how I look at it.
Right.
Oh, what did I do?
Well, you look good here.
But
No, it's just I don't know. I mean, a win's a win, but now I don't know. My expectations are a little bit different right now.
yeah, mine are the same. I don't. There's
Yeah.
no way that, in my eyes, right? This is what I do every single year, and every single
Hmm.
year, some fans go off the deep end. We
Right.
gotta stop. This happened in 2019. Iowa lost to Wisconsin. Remember?
Hmm.
Even though the offense did great against Wisconsin that day, Nate Stanley, he on the 2-point conversion, he went, but he got stopped, to tie the game. And then Iowa's defense just couldn't stop Wisconsin's running game. After that game, I believe it was that game, everybody and their dog was saying how Iowa wasn't going to win another game, blah, blah, blah. And that's what they're going to do now. And It's not going to happen. This is still a good team.
Yeah.
The
Well,
quarterback just played awful. Well, he played beyond awful. Like, I mean,
yeah.
it was, I mean, but
No, it
they're
was.
going to get better. This is what they do. This is how I'm going to tell you. I'm still on my 10-2. I'm not going to go away
Mhm.
from it because of week 1, right?
Right. Okay.
I never do. That year I'm talking about 2019, they went on and won the rest of their games and ended the season 10-3.
Right.
So everybody's going to get all dramatic and talk about, they suck, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to happen. And I know
Yeah.
that's probably how you feel right now, but that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah. I'm not saying that we're going to lose every single game. My expectations, because we proved today without quality wide receivers that our quarterback, he can't
has nothing
find
to do
the
with
wide
wide
receiver.
receiver.
He could not find the wide receivers, and and like Laporta only 2 catches today. Lachey only 1 catch today. I figured they would be the ones with the most catches, and it turns out the most catches was
Well,
6 by
Laporta,
Arlen Bruce had 6 catches today.
as he should have.
Right.
Aaron Bruce should have had 20 catches today. Did you? I mean,
Right.
he was wide open all day, and I mean,
Mhm.
they weren't covering Bruce; they were
I know.
covering Laporta. So that's
I don't
that's
know.
how that was their game plan. South Dakota State executed their game plan to a T. Make
Mhm.
Petras beat you without throwing the ball to Laporta. They left Bruce wide open all day, and Petras still couldn't do it. I hate
Right.
dogging the kid because I'm so positive, right? I stick
Mhm.
with my positivity until after next week. I'm gonna say this. This is how I judge. I never judge a team by week 1 because the most that a team will improve is from week 1 to week 2, right?
True.
And not only week 1, this week 1 was awful because of all the injuries. We had so much youth, and Iowa drove all the way down the field, got inside the 5-yard line, and youth fumbled the ball, right? Wasn't he a true sophomore? Williams?
Yeah.
LaShawn? So
When this year? No, I think he's. Yeah, he might be. I was thinking he was a junior.
I think Gavin's a sophomore too. I think they're both sophomores. But anyway, that was a good drive by Iowa, good play calls by BF. And youth fumbled the ball. It was one of those games, right? It's not how the season's going to go. But I do, in my heart, even though I do always, I talked bad about Petras this sophomore year because when he came out of high school, I had him rated low, and he played exactly right, Mike. Petras played exactly, and so far his whole career has been exactly what I said. And I don't like that. I do not like that. I like being positive because I see how hard he works, right?
Right.
Well, I put all my eggs in his basket because I saw what he did at Manning Academy. Dude, the kid in shorts is great. When he's in shorts, he plays great. But good Lord, today was his worst game he's ever played. Ever.
Well, it's like, okay, it just doesn't seem like in game time mode that he's ready to play. Yeah, in practice without any pressure, and he wearing the red shirt. Man, I can do this all day long and hit my receivers, and because
right.
we've
he
seen
even had a clean pocket.
Yeah, but we've seen 2 scrimmages, the spring and the summer, that he looked like crap. He looked like crap today. I can't believe in practice that he was looking that good. Because you just go out there and you just look like crap all the time. All of a sudden,
no, he doesn't. He looks great in practice. Yeah. I guarantee you.
Okay, so he's a practice guy, but he's not a game guy.
Hey, somebody in your group said that. I don't remember who it was, but I've been saying it since he came out of high school that he looks great in shorts. He's one of those guys that look great in shorts. But I was just defending him. 2 years ago, I didn't defend him. I actually had a bet that Padilla would be the starting quarterback. I lost that bet. So I had to donate to the Children's Hospital because that was our bet. But but I still, and so I was against Petras, but then I saw how the team played with Petras last year, which they always played better. When Petrus is in there, and they showed the stats in this that in the first 6 games he had 9 touchdowns and only 2 picks.
Right, I saw that.
You saw that? Yeah,
I saw that. I saw that little blurb they threw up there.
That's all Iowa needs to win the ball game.
Yeah. The sad thing about it is he didn't play all last those 6 games though. The poor record in the last 6 games wasn't all his.
No,
I mean some of that was Padilla.
And both quarterbacks were not very good last year. We could face that. Yeah. LaBosse doesn't know the offense, Mike. So they really can't. LaBosse is still confused by the offense. You saw that on Kids Day. LaBosse looked like Deuce.
Right.
Remember, we did a show and I compared him to Deuce. Like, he looked better than Deuce as far as, getting out of the huddle. But when LaBosse gets up to the line of scrimmage, he still is kind of – remember, you have a play clock. So the quarterback literally has to know, boom, look, hey, you have to know what you're doing because you have to get everybody in the right spot before you say hike or you're going to have a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
And LaBosse is still confused on all that. Now, I am in favor of a LaBosse package, which we know would never happen. Give LaBosse the 10 plays that he knows, right, and that he can execute because he has speed to get outside and he will use it, right? Bootlegs would be great, whereas Padilla won't. Everybody talks about Padilla's movement skills, but he never uses it. He's in his mind, he's a pocket passer. Last year, he didn't pick up 1 first down with his legs, not one. And when he rolled out, got out of the pocket, he threw the ball away. So, Mike, that's why LaBosse won't play because he doesn't. I mean, he's not ready. He's one of those that. How do I say this? He's one of those like that Kirk said about Deuce, before the Nebraska game. If we have to go play with, with our number 3 quarterback, it's not right. That's where LaBosse is right now. Their offense, but shit or shoot. Holy cow, I cussed. Maybe I am a little upset. I don't cuss.
I still wish I wish Paul was on here. We need Paul.
Yeah, drunk Paul. That could be funny.
Yeah. I think he's just afraid of saying. He said I think he was afraid of saying something that would get us banned.
Like what I just did, cussing. But it would be interesting to have Paul's take when he's drunk. But I'm still on my 10-2 wagon. I won't be next week if the offense does the same, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe Peters comes out and plays like he did last year against Iowa State. Iowa will win by a mile if he does that, right? The Iowa State's offense today is struggling with Southeast Missouri. So, and the defense is struggling. I think it's
how's that game going, by the way? Do you know?
It's 21-10 at the half. So, the game is going like how it would be on a normal Power 5 school versus Southeast Missouri is not South Dakota State.
Right.
So you have to put things in perspective. Like South Dakota State would destroy Southeast Missouri, right?
Yeah. Do you think
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, do you think South Dakota State is that good that we'll look back at the end of the season and think, we were worried for nothing. That team just turned out to be like a dynamite team, and they go on and win the national title in their division. And
they will. I think they will if their quarterback stays healthy. Their key is their quarterback. He has to stay healthy. They have to stop running him, and they have to get him out of the pocket. He has that leg problem, right? You know where quarterbacks get hurt the most? In the pocket. Everybody talks about running quarterbacks. Oh, you're going to get hurt. No, running quarterbacks don't get hurt. They get hurt in the pocket. They don't get hurt running the football because people are falling at your legs, right? So they really got to get him outside the pocket where he can control the situation. But literally, South Dakota State, I think, is going to win.
I'm gonna let it go to voicemail. It's my daughter, but unless she wants to be on the air.
I thought you were like playing the song.
That's my ringtone. That's my ringtone.
Nice. Patty, in a way, you're right, but he's also not losing the games, which is why Petrus starts, because he's a KF quarterback, right? He doesn't lose games, although today he tried with that pick before half. But that was the only bad thing that he did as far as losing the game. With how good Iowa's defense is, KF wants a QB who doesn't lose the game. And that's why Petrus starts, but they got to try Padilla. There is no way. I can't think for the life of me that Padilla would be worse than Petrus in the game, right? Even though last year, and he might be, because last year he was. Petrus was better than Padilla last year. But now after today, I gotta give Padilla a shot. And you're right, Mike. The O-line wasn't always, but see, then I'm going to the plays where he had a clean pocket. Like the dig route to Alex Wick. That dig route was wide open, that if my high school quarterback missed that throw, he'd be doing push-ups. That's what I'm saying. You're right. He was getting killed, and the line did not play well. But there was times where it was blocked perfect, and he still missed the throw. Those are the plays I'm talking about. Those are the plays that every quarterback has to make. Every quarterback's going to deal with pressure, right? But on those plays where you don't get pressure, you have to execute. So that's my thing with Petrus right now. I only want to see Padilla to see if he's better, right? Because today Petrus wasn't even last year's Petrus. He wasn't even close to last year's Petrus.
No, he wasn't even last year. Last year's Petrus, we might have scored. Yeah. But I want to say, who was 77 on the O-line today? Do you know who that was? Huh?
Colby. I think it's Colby, isn't it?
Because one of the sacks, they clearly show it. When Petrus got sacked, they show Colby, number 77, going to his left for a block, and there's nobody there. When he realizes that he should have gone right, by the time he turns right, the guy who's supposed to defend is already past him. That guy his eyes must have got wide when he seen how wide open he was.
Was it the right tackle?
Yeah.
Yeah, Colby. Yeah, but that's the youth. He's a sophomore.
Right.
South Dakota State confused the front line.
It was obvious because you could see it because they ran the thing, and I go, oh, he thinks there's somebody on his left. By the time he figured it out and went right, the guy he was supposed to block was already sacking.
Yeah. I mean, the line stunk it up. I commented on my Twitter thing. I'm in a Hawk Talk there too with all the Iowa fans who I was talking off the ledge. I mean, 2 minutes into the game, Iowa fans were trying to jump off the ledge, but
you're trying to talk everybody off the ledge.
Yeah. But I commented on, there was a play where DeJong, I didn't know what he was doing. He was blocking air. He was so lost. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Right.
I mean,
I didn't catch that, but I'll take your word for it.
No, I mean, it was on play. I commented on it, the actual play that it happened. Like, I literally was like, what? I was like, who was DeJong blocking? And somebody said, air. So there were so many people that were actually at the game in the Hawk Talk. So they were like, I'm leaving. It does matter, Patty, because a quarterback can lose the game. I mean, the bottom line is Petrus did not lose this game. He could have threw 4 picks and lost the game, but he did. He took care of his business as far as not losing it and let Iowa's defense win the game, and then they'll start over next week. That's the bottom line. If you put Labas out there and he doesn't know it, he could fumble the ball, turn the ball over, and Iowa would lose like that. Iowa loses today if the offense turns the ball over a lot.
We turned it over twice.
Imagine if the fumble happened on Iowa's 5 and not South Dakota State's 5. All that just craziness. I mean, it really sucks for BF because, well, now he's the quarterback's coach, but he called a good game. Man, any average quarterback today would have had 300 yards passing. There was so many wide open receivers. I don't care what anybody says. That's the offensive coordinator's position. His job is to call the right play against the right defense. And that is what he did. There was wide. I mean, did you see Bruce's face on that one where the ball hit him? It bounced 5 feet in front of him, and there was nobody around him. Did you see that? He caught the ball on the bounce and was like there was literally nobody around him. And that's when I said, I believe that was in the first half. And I said, well, after half, you remember the Nebraska game? They switched to Petrus.
Right.
I told everybody that I would be 100% on board to make the switch to Padilla. Just go the opposite way they did with the Nebraska game.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do something. The only thing that I think is, and I'll find out this week, and I'll let you know what I find out because I'm going to be talking to some people. I think they did not switch quarterbacks for that reason alone. I think they knew the defense would win them the game, and defense and special teams. And I think they told Petrus, just don't throw a pick. Don't throw a pick six. Do not lose this game. And then we'll get back to square one, right? But
it looked like
I wouldn't want to be Petrus at school this week.
Yeah. I don't. It looked like the last few possessions, our running game got going a little better than it had, and then
I agree, Mike.
And then when it came up a little short, let's go back to the passing and see if we can miss a few receivers out there.
What?
5.
5?
Yeah, I gotta be on.
Okay, what time is it?
It's 3:22.
Oh, 3:22.
So we got to wrap it up, huh?
5 minutes. We got 5 minutes. The problem is I talk too much. She already told me that.
You guys got a hot date going on tonight?
No, she does online counseling for people. Like that's her job. Like she's a mental health therapist or whatever. So she needs the laptop to do all that, and I use the laptop.
Okay.
I use the laptop to do this. So I mean, you could always keep going and talk with people that are getting on. No, you're right. And Stanley's my favorite quarterback. I mean, this is why this is what the criticism I don't get a BF and why I know it's going to happen this week. Even though everybody saw all the wide open receivers and they hate Petrus, right? But they won't do anything. They won't give BF any credit for having wide open receivers. They're going to blame everything on BF and Petrus instead of looking at it as a whole. Remember, BF was Stanley's offense coordinator. Stanley had 68 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. Those routes that we saw today, Stanley would have had 300 yards passing today. Easily.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not on BF. This whole, gosh, I'm getting worked up. But you're 100% accurate, Mike, on that Stanley thing. Because I already know. But I absolutely love it because I already know my messages are just, you wouldn't believe the messages I got right now. It's just nutty. I mean, It happened right after the game, too. All the instant messages. I had to text a couple of people to make sure they did not put any money on Iowa. I was like, because they saw my score. My score was a fun score, right? I was just being positive on my Hawks. It wasn't a lock. So I was like, don't put money on Iowa. Somebody saw that it was down to 9 points or something. So if they went with it, they would have lost. But anyway, I don't know what the spread ended up on game time.
I don't either.
But don't get upset. Don't get upset until next week. Next week, post game, then I'll be like, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, so on that topic, when we meet on Friday, you guys already know this, but I want to tell anybody who's listening, we're going to have a special Iowa State guest on who's going to give us a little take from his side of the fence. I've known this guy for a long time. I've known him for about 40 plus years. Dang. And he's a former Waterloo Courier. He's done some sports editing for the Ames Tribune and Waterloo Courier and done a lot of jobs there, but he's retired now. And it's going to be fun. Trust me, this guy's very knowledgeable. And I think he'll give us some good insight to Iowa State. And if there's some negative Iowa State things to be said, he'll say it because he won't be scared to say it.
Yeah,
And
I wonder how
so,
the game's going right now. I'll just go watch that game and kind of figure it out. That's
yeah,
gonna be fun. I'm glad
yeah,
you did that. That's gonna be fun.
yeah. I think it's gonna. I think it'll be a lot of fun. The thing is I've had him in my group before, and he left because he was taking a beating because he was an Iowa State fan, and he pointed some things out, but and so he just left the group, and I managed to get him back. So I promised him that I would make sure that if anybody criticized him, they're out.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen
Yeah, there's no reason to. There's no reason to because we all
because
have our
you're doing it pregame, right? You're not gonna do
right.
postgame with it, or are you playing on postgame with him?
I'm not. I hadn't planned on going post game with him, just pregame.
Okay, then he won't get anything there. It'll be in postgame is when he would hear a lot
Yeah.
when
Well,
everybody's drunk.
yeah. So yeah, why don't we get you out of here to your so your wife can use her job, and I got a couple things I want to do real quick anyway. So I think this was a good, quick, instant reaction discussion. Are we going to go Monday and do a full show on after we've slept on it for a few days?
Well, if you want to? But
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. How's that?
Okay, sounds good. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. Those of you that are live and participated in the comments, we certainly appreciate it. We do want to point out that Sensi by Terry is our sponsor. Her link has been up off and on throughout the show. Go to that link and see what she has to offer you guys.
And
All
don't
right.
forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, and yeah, subscribe to the YouTube, guys. Come, please. We really appreciate it, and we're up to 3,800 people in the Facebook group, and man, that's beyond my wildest dream. I never dreamed about that we'd get that far with that. So
Awesome.
I appreciate everybody who's on there. We've got a lot of former Hawks in that group, and so I appreciate their wisdom and their input, and I talked to a couple of them on the side, and I'm going to eventually get one of them, if not more of them, on on our show to um, give us some real insight, and I think they'd have some stories to share too.
Awesome.
That
See
I
you,
think the
buddy.
guys would like to say. We'll see you later. I've talked too
Bye,
much now,
Hawkeye
huh?
Nation.
Bye. Take care, guys.